Hey everyone, and welcome to Ask M&R Productions episode 172, the series where I answer your questions. So if you have a question for next week's episode, make sure you leave it down in the comments section below. And if you enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button while you're down there. Anyway, guys, we have some huge news today. As you can probably tell by the title of the video, the File First Battle Pack might be retiring sooner rather than later. However, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Only a certain subset of you, I think, are really going to have to be worried about this. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Meanwhile, we have some questions to get to. First up, from something Orphans, he says, I don't know if you know this, but you showed up in a meme compilation video from Clumsy and got roasted. So I looked into this, and I found the video, and I found the little section where I was in this, like, 20-minute video. And it's a comment from one of my videos, like, in the last week, and I'm pretty sure I had already seen this one. I'll get to it in a second. But the comment says, dude, shave your mustache. You look like the photo grandpa would show you from the good old days, which the more I think about it, it's pretty funny. But honestly, I think the better one came on, I think it was on my Instagram account where I posted a picture of myself with my mustache, and someone was like, you look like you shouldn't be within 200 feet of an elementary school, or something to that effect. And I thought that was a much better roast. It's okay, it's gone now. You don't have to, you can sleep well tonight. Galactic Republic says, hey M&R, should I buy the Republic Bricks $50 mystery pack clone box? I'm trying to build my army. So I don't think buying a mystery box is the way to go for what you're trying to do here. Buying a mystery box should be something you do if, let's say, you just have an extra $50 laying around. You want to buy something, you maybe don't know what you want, and you want to just have fun with your $50. You have $50 that you don't mind maybe not getting what you put in out of it, but for the fun of it, for the entertainment value, you want to go and buy a mystery box. Whether it's from Republic Bricks, whether it's from some random person on eBay, or whatever the case is, that's the case when you buy a mystery box. Not when you're trying to do something specific like you're trying to do here. Trying to build your army, especially in any sort of efficient rate or knowledgeably efficient rate. Like you're not going to know what you're going to get out of it until you put the money in, is my point. Versus when you just buy, like, let's say a File First Battle Pack, you know you're going to get 4 clone troopers, and you know your army is gonna grow this much, right? So I recommend against buying any sort of mystery box, including Republic Bricks, who is my friend. But like, if you're trying to do a specific thing, mystery box is not the way to go. If you want, you know, a Captain Rex, don't buy a mystery box hoping to get a Captain Rex. Go spend your money on a Captain Rex. I know it sucks to spend $100 on one figure, but chances are you're not going to get it in that mystery box anyway, so don't take that chance. You're just going to feel like you wasted your money. So do the specific thing you're trying to do when it's something specific. Mystery boxes are really for when you just want to have fun. Mr. Midden says, what do you know now as a YouTuber that you wish you'd known when you first started your channel? Perhaps this answer is a bit ironic given my performance as of late, but I think that when I first started, consistency wasn't there. And the thing is, consistency is key. That's one of the most important things in doing YouTube. And also, to a greater degree, I would say just making a good YouTube video. And that's going to be very subjective based on the viewer, but like having a complete package of a good YouTube video is very important, because you can be consistent all you want, but if you're putting out literal bad videos that are, you know, I mean, if you look back at my old videos, you can tell what I'm talking about. Like it just takes a while to get to the point where you're making things other people are genuinely going to find interesting and want to watch regardless. But I think consistency being key would be the biggest takeaway from like when I started in 2009 to now, like things I wish I knew. And I really feel like I didn't even figure that out until like 3, maybe 4 years ago at the earliest. So yeah, that's definitely one thing I wish I knew up front. I'm gonna try to read this comment without laughing. So this was about the Ulysses Probe promo from last week that we talked about, and I read this comment. Tuamase or something says, I always send Lego an email when these promos fail and ask how I am going to get one for my son, who is now freaking out. They always send me 1,500 to 2,000 VIP points, which if you don't know is about $15 to $20 worth of VIP points. And then he finishes it off by saying, I don't have a kid. Yo, this was so funny. Do this. This is it unethical? Very unethical. But is it funny? Yes, and that's what matters. Oh man, I read this, dude. I read this the other day, and I just burst out laughing. You really brightened my day the other day. It was very funny. Great comment. I hope, you know, for all Lego does screwing over the fans, it's good to get a little victory every once in a while, ain't it? Nico says, what's plugged into the outlet underneath the Tantive 4 near the left side of the screen? Kind of a weird question, to be honest, but it's actually, that light is one of the things that's plugged in. And then also, there is the other plug back there that has a wire running all the way through. You can see it run under and into the closet there. It runs through the inside of the closet down to the ground. Basically, I didn't want to have a wire on my ground. And then it runs all the way through the other side, out out here, and it's that extension cord with 3 things on the end to power my lights. Liam 504 says, do you think the UCS Republic gunship will cause the older gunships to go down in price? As someone who has been trying to get the 2013 one on eBay for a decent price, should I wait till the new UCS gunship comes out? Love your channel and love your content. Thanks for the kind words there at the end, Liam. But I think it kind of covers every situation like this to look at it this way. Although things will vary and not everything's guaranteed to work the same way, I suppose. But the way I look at it is, does the UCS gunship fill the market that the older gunships currently hold? Like the older gunships being playset gunships with a bunch of minifigures, and the UCS gunship is going to be fundamentally different than those. So in my opinion, it will not really change that market. To me, the idea is that the playset gunships, because of how different they're going to be from the UCS one, are going to continue to demand a very high price, and that is not really going to change. In fact, it could go up higher when more people finally realize that the UCS gunship is not a play gunship. It's not supposed to be. It never was supposed to be. And so that demand for those older sets may continue to rise while the supply continues to fall because they're older and like the supply is not going up, right? Now, it's also kind of true that maybe there are some people that just want a gunship period, whether it's the older playset one or UCS one, and the UCS one is going to be cheaper and a better value than those older playset gunships, and so that will kind of eat into that market, a little bit. It's hard to know what exactly will happen, but if you're asking my opinion, I don't think it will make the price of the older gunships fall. So yeah, those older gunships are really hard to come by, and they are very expensive now, and that's just the way that it is, and LEGO has come out and said that they don't plan on making another play-scale gunship anytime soon, so the fact of the matter is that those sets are not very likely to go down in value. And I think we can also look at something like the Diagon Alley from last year. I bought the older Diagon Alley before the new one was announced, and that's because nobody really knew what was in the new one. And so I was really surprised when the new one came out, and I looked back at the old one's price, that the old one's price had gone up quite a bit because the new one did not fill the market of the old one. The new one was fundamentally different than the older Diagon Alley, and therefore the older Diagon Alley still had demand, but the supply kept going down, obviously, because it's the older one and they're not making any more, so as more get sold and more get opened, there are less sealed ones to go around, and you can see where that goes. Long story short, gunship, 99% chance it's not going down in price. At the very least, it's going to stay the same, and more than likely, I would say it will just continue to slowly rise over the years until LEGO eventually makes another gunship that actually fills that market. Eli Davidson says, will the UCS R2-D2 be sold out on the first day in store? My LEGO store opens at 11 a.m., so what time should I arrive if it would have a good chance of being sold out? So my like normal thing is I'll go to the LEGO store and get there at least an hour early if I'm worried about it being sold out, and that's just in general for me too, because I don't want to walk away empty-handed anyway, no matter what, so I usually play it super safe and arrive earlier than most people would reasonably. But UCS R2-D2, I mean, look, it's going to vary store to store, and I don't know your store. I don't know how many they're going to have. I don't know how many people are going to want this set, to be honest. I would say there's a pretty low chance it'll be sold out. I think the supply for most things day one has been pretty good lately. Like the Space Shuttle, I was surprised they had a ton of at Disney Springs in Orlando, and there were a ton of people there. Actually, when I showed up, I was worried it might sell out in front of me, but no, there were plenty to be had. I would call your LEGO store the night before, ask them how many they have, and then base your decision off that. I don't think this is like a UCS Gunship level hype or UCS AT-AT level hype. Like, this is the least hype UCS set of the year by far, but it is the May the 4th promo thing, and so that plays into the demand of it. So I don't know, I would say it's unlikely to be sold out, but if you do want to show up early, I would recommend showing up about an hour early. You're very likely to get one anyway, but it's probably worth your time, and it's a little fun to just sit in line and you can chat with other people or do whatever for an hour. The Brick Cave says, what did you think of the Apple Spring event, especially the new iMac and the new iPad Pro? So I don't really care about the new iPad Pro at all. Like, I wasn't thinking about getting a new iPad really, but I was thinking about potentially getting the new iMac, and I hate the way these new iMacs look. The white bezel, I mean, the design of it from like a thinness standpoint, like the way that it looks outside of the color choices is pretty good, but the white bezel, I don't like the white, and I also don't like that there's no Apple logo on the chin, so I'm kind of going to wait and see what the next iMac Pro looks like, because if you don't know, I edit all my videos on Mac. This will be something I probably buy when I move or whatever, but right now I just use my MacBook Pro to edit all my videos on. I don't even use my iMac anymore because it's just out in the garage because I don't really have a space to put it in my current setup. So yeah, I was thinking about potentially getting a new iMac, but not anymore after seeing what they revealed the other day. It just wasn't to my liking, and there's not even like a space gray black option. Like, I'm just not interested in all those fluffy colors for what I have. All right, so let's talk about the 501st Battle Pack with Elliot's question here. First, he says, I think the 501st Battle Pack has been mislabeled as not a set on the website. When you filter to just sets, it doesn't show up at all for me, and this is fascinating. It really genuinely is. This comes right off the heels of last week's question about if LEGO was hiding the 501st Battle Pack, and it continues to look like that. I'll tell you what, it continues to look like they want to hide it. For whatever God-given reason, they don't want people to buy this set. It is actually shocking. If you go on lego.com, and you on the left side, there's like the little options to pick what type of thing you're looking for within the subcategory of Star Wars. You can click sets, and you would think the 501st Battle Pack would be defined as a Lego set. However, while the Millennium Falcon Microfighter, brick sketches, even the Chewbacca plush is defined according to the Lego categories as a Lego set, the 501st Battle Pack is not. How this is the case is beyond me. This is a staggering, even the AAT, let's say the 501st Battle Pack and AAT go hand in hand, kind of as like a duo to fight each other. The AAT is here, and the 501st Battle Pack is not. What is going on? This is blatant at this point, in my opinion. It's either blatant or, as I like to say, Lego is stupid. And time again, Lego has shown that they are stupid. So I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility that they are just stupid and made a stupid mistake, because that's what they tend to do. But we can't rule out malice at this point, because this is just egregious, right? Like, what? It's not a Lego set? Like, it's incredible that it's not a Lego set. Wow. But I think I have some more interesting news for you guys. I saw a Reddit post last night, and it says, WTF, they retired the 501st Battle Pack in Australia. This is a reply to an email I sent to Lego asking them when it will be back in stock. And the email essentially says that due to poor sales in the market, they had to retire the 501st Legion Clone Trooper set, and it will not be restocked in Australia. And then they go on to suggest buying from third-party retailers such as Bricklink.com, Brickset, and Amazon. Okay, either I've got it backwards, but all of these three things are not in the same category. Bricklink.com is a reseller site. Brickset.com is a news site, and Amazon.com is an actual affiliated, like, marketplace seller that Lego actually sends product to. None of the how does Lego Shop at Home service recommend three completely different things when only one of these things is a real valid way to be, like, they're recommending you buy it from a scalper from Bricklink because they still get their 3%, I guess. Ain't that crazy? So they retired it in Australia, apparently. And so I think the answer for why this is the case is pretty straightforward. And I'm surprised it hasn't happened to more sets. But I assume the 501st Battle Pack is a special case because they very likely redirected all of their stock to, like, North America and Europe, where the set was just impossible to find anyway too. And I have heard, and I surely will read more comments on this video corroborating this, and I welcome you to comment below, that people in Australia have had a hard time finding this to begin with. And so my response to this is essentially that it's impossible for a Lego set to have demand, as they say. They had poor sales in Australia because Lego isn't supplying it. Lego supply in Australia is historically poor, very poor. I mean, you can ask anyone that lives in Australia, they know this. And I know this, not because I live in Australia, not because I've ever been to Australia, but because I have a history of watching. This is kind of crazy how this all ties together. Leo Kim Video, he is one of my favorite YouTubers ever. Just a really just straightforward guy, like, tells the truth every time, like a really just respectable person in my opinion that I enjoy watching. And he does a lot of toy videos. He does these weird spider videos that I don't really enjoy, but I really watch him for, like, his toy videos and his, like, store analysis of things around him. He has a lot of really great things in that nature, at least he used to. He doesn't really upload as much anymore, super unfortunately, because he gets screwed by YouTube or something. But, you know, he does Thomas the Tank Engine as well, so not all of this is just Lego Direct, but this is an Australia problem that he has well documented over the years, that Australia as a country has empty peg syndrome, and it's impossible. Empty pegs don't sell anything. You can't sell something that's not there.
I can show you plenty of video of empty pegs where the Thomas Take and Play toys should be hanging, and these empty pegs don't last just for weeks, they can last for months. Now, this empty peg syndrome is happening in what I call the major retailers. Now, last time I looked, you can't make money from empty pegs. So if Mattel are crowing about bad profits, well, hey, you got to start looking at what you've got on your empty pegs.
So because Lego had production issues to begin with the 501st Battle Pack, it was delayed release in the US, I don't know what it was for Australia, but because Lego had production issues with the 501st Battle Pack to begin with, the set wasn't on shelves to begin with, therefore it's selling zero. You can't sell something you don't have. And two, Australia, as a country, because they are super strict on the COVID stuff, and I'm not going to get into all that, but as a country, they have had a ton of lockdowns, meaning you can't go to the stores, meaning you can't buy non-essential goods in their country. So File for His Battle Pack, I would argue, unfortunately, is not an essential good, and therefore it's not selling because it's literally illegal or against the mandate or whatever, I don't know, to buy it for months on end, perhaps. I don't know the exact dates, but I would assume within the last, I don't know, it's been available for 8 months now in Australia, perhaps, that most of those months have been spent in lockdown, unable for something to be purchased that probably isn't on the shelves anyway because it sells out immediately, but it only sells like 6 copies because that's all that shows up because they're not supplying enough. So all of these things combined have created this weird market where the set looks like it's not selling, but clearly is in demand because I get comments all the time saying, I haven't seen this in Australia. Where is this set? I've still yet to find one in stores. And like, it's very clear that the set is in demand. I mean, you look at America, the set's selling like crazy. Look at Europe, set's selling like crazy. This set has most certainly sold more copies than any other LEGO Star Wars set and probably any other LEGO set period in the last year. And to see LEGO completely oblivious to the world around them is unsurprising to me at this point, but is kind of shocking given that they have so many people that should be on top of this sort of thing. Like, oh hey, here's this giant global issue. We have production issues. We already know this. And we're not supplying X amount of sets to the region. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me how they could possibly retire the set given their inability to supply the set to begin with. This is clearly a complete mistake on LEGO's end to retire a set that they probably only ever shipped like 1 batch to the region for. So yeah, it's really a shame to see this happening because obviously they're keeping it available in America probably through the end or at least mid 2022 because it's selling so well over here, but that's because they've actually been able to somewhat supply it to this region. So yeah, it seems like a complete error on LEGO's end. They probably won't change it because they don't change things. Only the best is good enough, of course. So yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. I'm sorry if you live in Australia, you're probably SOL at this point. It's really crappy because of the way it's gone for your country as far as being locked down and not being able to buy something that LEGO hasn't even supplied to have it available online or anything like that. Chris says, why don't you plan to make a follow-up short video about why you've been kicked out of the LEGO Ambassador Network, but will you get back on it eventually? I don't really have anything else to add to why I've been kicked. There's nothing really to follow up on, and will I get back on it eventually? Seems very unlikely to me at this point. I don't really plan on reapplying. I was lied to the bitter end, dude. I have no, like, why would I want to go back to something that just lied to me the whole time and doesn't even know my value? They don't value me. 3 LEGO sets exist because of my channel and what we have been able to do as a community here, and they just don't give a crap about that. Like, the last phone call I had with them when they, like, told me they were gonna deboard me or whatever it's called when you get kicked out. They don't call it kicking out. They told me, hey, we know you were looking for an answer on this thing. We're gonna get you that answer. They would tell me things and just not do them. It was so blatant to me that they just don't care about me, even though I brought so much to the table. It pisses me off. It honestly really does. That's my follow-up. Like, one of the last things they told me is, we're gonna get you this thing that you've been asking about. And then they just never did. And it's like, what is the point of this? You're telling me things and you're just not following through. Like, it's your job. It's incredible. So yeah, I don't like it at all. I enjoyed getting free stuff early, of course. Who wouldn't? And I have beat the dead horse at this point, but not getting the interviews hurt me. It pissed me off to no end. Yeah, I think the LAN is a complete disorganized mess, and I think the Bad Batch stuff kind of just adds on to that and proves my point that I had been trying to make for the last few months. I have very thoroughly enjoyed watching the whole Bad Batch saga unfold. So yeah, they lied to me to the bitter end about like every little thing, and I was never happy with it, and like I think that's obvious. I call LEGO stupid once, and they're like, you can't do that, strike one, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, what? They literally had me in a phone call, and they're like, you can't call LEGO stupid. And I'm like, but they did something that I thought was stupid. But you can't call them, but I'm like, but it was stupid. And I'm like, isn't it crazy? It's crazy. It's crazy to me. Every time I think about it, it's just insane.
I think it's worth saying that Brick Vault also left LAN, which brings the grand total of people that have departed LAN in the last 2 months or so to about 1.6 million subscribers worth. That is bonkers. That's probably about half of the reach or influence that the LEGO Ambassador Network had, just gone, pretty much in the snap of a finger. It's insane how poorly their program is run, and I think the Exodus shows that.
Republic Builder says, do you think Disney get pissed off about the Bad Batch Shuttle is related to the different colors of the set, possibly meaning the shuttle will get a color change in the show? No, I actually don't think this is the reason. I feel like I know it's not the reason, but we'll for the fun of it, we'll get into it. The blue, the sand blue is a problem. I don't think the set is sand blue. And it's interesting because you look at the Hot Wheels version of the Bad Batch Shuttle, which is just now coming out, and it is in gray. So you would think Hot Wheels would be privy to the same info that LEGO is too. And Hot Wheels would probably have a shorter lead time. It probably takes less time to design one of those Hot Wheels things than the LEGO set. So I would say Hot Wheels would have the better chance of getting it right. I think it's been obvious that it's gray since we've known about the ship forever and ever. Like I said in my video, I've never seen anyone ever even infer that it's sand blue or even somewhat of a tint of blue. And so seeing LEGO make it blue is very shocking. I don't think they're going to paint it. I really don't. I think LEGO just messed it up, as they tend to do with a lot of things. Only the best is good enough. However, I think the reason Disney is mad really is, and I didn't even touch on this in my video because I messed up the characters a little bit, Crosshair is actually going to become an Imperial. And in that leaked image, the figure, the Crosshair figure, is in his Imperial uniform, therefore inferring a leak or a storyline that Crosshair becomes an Imperial or turns to the side or whatever. And so that is a big storyline leak for them, and they're pissed off about that. And I think that's the reason they're pissed off, not because of the color of the shuttle. That is going to do it for today's show, though, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below, and you can also leave a question down below for next week's episode. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed, hit the like button. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Peace out.